and Jayla. How are you guys doing today?
Fine. Good.
Good. All right, so we're finishing up our third week in the anger management course, and today we're going to go over a little anger awareness record. So what this is just a table, and we're going to look at some situations that might kind of make you guys a little angry or kind of get those angry tendencies that you might have. And kind of what were you thinking during that time that got you angry? And then that anger meter rating that we've talked about. So 1 being low and 10 being high. So 1, was it not that angry? Or 10, was it you were really angry? And then behavior, so what did you do when that anger happened? How did you react? And then the consequences, positive or negative. So what good or bad things happened after you reacted? And then what strategies did you use to kind of help that anger? So we've talked about some of those things, like maybe calling a friend that's helpful, or just stepping back and thinking a little bit and not reacting right on the fly, okay? So here's your guys' books for this week, and I want you guys on your own, you're just gonna fill these out. And then we're going to both discuss, or all three of us, I'm going to fill it out as well, so that when we're done, we can maybe kind of collaborate with some strategies, okay? So go ahead and take a few minutes and fill this out. You can put as many situations as you want, or just one, whatever you are up to today, okay? Okay, are you guys done?
Yeah.
Okay. So Haley, we're going to go ahead and start with you. So what is a current situation that you've been in that maybe has made you a little angry?
Well, last night my brother decided to eat my leftovers.
Okay. So kind of what were you thinking when you saw that your brother ate those leftovers, and how were you feeling?
I just told myself, he's so selfish, he never thinks about anybody else.
Okay. When you were thinking those things, what was that anger meter rating at?
I would say like a 7 because he does this all the time.
Okay. Have you been able to talk to him about it at all?
Well, after it, I kind of went and yelled at him.
Okay. So that was kind of that behavior that you have then maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the consequences of yelling at your brother after that, what were those consequences?
It was not good. We just got in a bigger fight.
Okay. So when you kind of got upset and yelled at your brother and you got in a fight, what strategies did you use that we've talked about? Or even what are some strategies that you think you could use maybe if this happens again, since you do say it happens a lot?
So I think I probably could have handled it better and maybe have just taken a breath or a walk, and I could have asked him, nicer maybe, so that way it wouldn't have blown up like it did.
Okay. Well, that's good that you kind of are thinking of things that maybe could go differently next time.
Yeah.
Since this does happen quite often.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe next time we're just trying to keep those in mind a little bit. And maybe Jayla will have some strategies, or myself, that we'll be able to share too that could help, okay?
Awesome.
Okay, Jayla, what is a situation that's kind of been upsetting you lately?
I started a new sewing project the other day, and my one corner kept getting bunched up and my needle was getting caught, and it was making me so angry.
Okay, so when you were having those sewing issues, what kind of were you thinking during that, or how were you feeling?
I was like feeling hot. I was just over it. I was overestimating. I told myself I couldn't do this. I was overestimating like what I could do with sewing, and I was just upset. I was frustrated.
So you kind of had those like symptoms of maybe how we talked about hot, your hands were maybe getting a little sweaty, face a little red.
Yeah.
So those are all good things that you're recognizing. So for that anger meter rating, what were you at?
I was probably at an 8. It was really frustrating me. I was getting really upset.
Okay. What did you do after you kind of experienced those symptoms, physical symptoms? What did you do?
Well, my immediate reaction was I said a few curse words.
Okay. Okay. So those kind of consequences that you have from saying those curse words or just feeling angry, what were those that you experienced?
Well, I startled my husband in the other room, and he had to come and check on me. He thought something was wrong.
Yeah. So kind of shook him a little bit too?
Yeah.
Okay. And for strategies, what did you use, or what do you think you could use next time, since you're going to continue sewing?
Well, I did stop, and I had tried it a few times, and it still wasn't working, so I decided to call my Meemaw, and she kind of helps me walk through like what I need to do differently and go from there. And so that was helpful, just to pull myself away and get help from somebody else. So.
That's great. That is great. So I'll go ahead and share mine. The other day I was in class and someone interrupted me, and sometimes those little things can just set you off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so some of the anger cues I was having, like what I was thinking and feeling during that time, is they weren't listening to me. And that's not a good feeling when someone's not listening to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said that my anger meter rating was at a 6, which is pretty high. And the behavior I experienced afterwards is I just wanted to stop talking and not talk the rest of the class. I felt a little silly, and maybe that they weren't listening to me. And then for consequences, I said I didn't get to get all my thoughts across. So then I probably didn't get to learn to my best ability, because I just kind of shut down. And strategies I used, I just had to take a little break, stop, and think to myself that maybe they needed to say it right then or else they would forget. So I just stopped, thought, and I didn't want to respond to that person right away. So I just took a minute to breathe. So just keep this chart in mind, how we kind of can walk through this process and eventually get to some strategies that we could use to help these anger problems, okay?
Okay.